With your YouTube, it's your boy Black with y'all 3 long face, skinny body, and we back still black with some more fire Boruto anime manga content. Now, if you're in the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, smash the like button, share it with your friends, because we finna get right into the business. Yes, sir, ski. Okay, something that I don't believe a lot of people are necessarily ready for is how Boruto as a series, particularly the manga, will be ending off the year 2022. Now, I know we're just getting into the summertime, but with all of the things and announcements that we know from last year's Jump Festa in December, of the new releases coming towards the Boruto manga, not really that much of a announcement. All of they announced were novel adaptations for the manga by the end of the year. By the end of this year, we understand where the current story is at this point after the events of chapter 70 and how the code arc itself is leading up. Now, aside from all of the things that are going down right now, I could safely say that nobody knows really where they're leading up to with this code arc, whether they're leaving things into an open end where they will settle this initial climactic issue after the time skip, or whether, you know, they will be the last big bad to deal with before Boruto, Kawaki, etc. all have a 2 to 3 year time skip and we see them in the ages that they are in the first episode and first chapter of the series. It's only going to be 1 or 2 of those scenarios. So figures like Ada, Damon, and Code, I believe, will definitely be here in for the long run, at least for the most part, going into the Boruto time skip. But, you know, the significance of those characters, will it still be as if like Code is the big bad? And, you know, he just got his limiters unlocked. So going deeper into something, I feel like they're just using Code as a gateway. So now there's a lot of instances where people are questioning, okay, how Boruto is gonna, you know, be able to match up with Code. It's obvious how Kawaki has already been seen, showing beating previously limited Code. Now that Code has his limiters off, even Amato famously said at the end of chapter 70, it would be best for both Boruto and Kawaki to get stronger. We understand there's a dormant power lying in our young lord. You feel me? My son Boruto got the motherfucking Jougan thanks to the superhuman genes that Hinata and Naruto mixed together and blessed my man's with. You feel me? So he got this Jougan, according to Urashiki, a very dangerous and ancient eye. According to Momoshiki, real inherited Otsutsuki power, like of the old ages. According to this nigga Toneri, you know, it's the star of hope and shit like that. And also according to Momoshiki, again, it's the eyes that will take away everything from Boruto. So there's a whole lot of pack punch behind this motherfucking eye for it to not be as significant as it is in anime compared to the manga, because we've seen instances again where they try to implement Boruto's Jougan eye in very important events, or, you know what I'm saying, small little cameos in the anime. Now with the manga, we've only seen it on its Otsutsuki god, and that lets me to believe all of the instances that Boruto has awakened her Jougan, aside from the small glimpse that we get in the Hit and Miss field trip arc where him and Kagura are facing off against Shizuma, it flickers a little bit. But every instance we see Boruto unlock his Jougan, he is dealing, and I'm pretty sure this isn't news to anybody, he's dealing with some type of Otsutsuki dilemma. You know, originally with the Nue arc, we understand that Nue was Otsutsuki founding historical, some type of, like, you know what I'm saying, artifact along those lines, where it was ancient and it was ultimately discovered by Danzo, which ultimately almost led Danzo to figuring out clues and secrets behind Kage Otsutsuki. However, we understand how Nue eventually ended up in the hands of Sumere's father, and then eventually being sealed with Sumere, and to the current state that it is today. Nue was an Otsutsuki relic, an Otsutsuki ancient weapon, in a sense, let's just say it like that. However, it had direct ties to the Otsutsuki. A lot of people misinterpreted a lot of the lines Toneri stated in the anime, where it's cleared up, especially in the novel, it's cleared up of Toneri's intentions in not giving Boruto the Jougan, but rather awakening the Jougan in response to Nue's Otsutsuki related chakra. So we understand that that was like a gateway or like a catalyst to allow Toneri the opportunity to awaken the Jougan, because we even understand in the anime how Toneri constantly said the time is yet to come, it's still too early. And then we see down the line instances where the Jougan is awakening on its own when dealing with figures like Urashiki and dealing with figures like Momoshiki. Then we can understand, okay, so Toneri wasn't necessarily saying, oh, this Jougan is going to be specifically for these Otsutsuki like Momoshiki and Urashiki, but it's still too early for it to be awakening. However, we see instances where it can react in a similar sense where Nue is not necessarily a whole Otsutsuki, or, you know what I'm saying, triggering enough to be able to have Boruto unlock his Jougan unconsciously as he did in the face in the threat of Urashiki and Momoshiki, where it's like he needed a little push and a little help, and that's how the novel explained it from this nigga Toneri, whereas it's still stated in Toneri's prophecy that Boruto's eye is going to be the star of hope, and it can eventually like save the entire world, beacon of hope between both worlds, or whatever catastrophe is soon to fall onto these people. Now, when will we be able to get this Jougan that is so significant in Boruto's power, that I believe that after all of these things that they've been giving Boruto, from the Karma Seal, from the True Essence, from the millennia of experience, from Momoshiki to being ultimately pushed up to being one of the strongest ninjas in the village, we've still yet to see Boruto unlock his Dojutsu. And even with the Dojutsu we've seen him use time and time again in the manga, he cares nothing for it. We never even seen Boruto use the Byakugan to look at chakra points, you feel me? Let alone to try to hit a weak point in the motherfucker. Automatically, as soon as he activates his Jougan, he can automatically see all of the chakra points. He can automatically see the weak point. He can even be directed towards attacking the most vital point in any opponent, to where he can render them completely useless, or the most effective striking point against his enemies. So he has all of these instances and experience with using the Jougan in his earlier years, where every time we see him use the Byakugan, there's really nothing of it. And even back in the earlier years when Boruto thought his Jougan was the Byakugan, how excited he was. Now we see him with the Byakugan and Momoshiki's eye. He doesn't even do anything with it at all. We understand that there is still going to be a whole lot more buildup. Like I said earlier in the video, the story isn't really going to be stopping or really, you know what I'm saying, building up for the main thing to be, you know, Damon Ada Code. There's still a whole lot more Otsutsuki lore to dive into, and I do believe right now they're doing a very good job of keeping everything spread out in a very balanced way, to where it's not like, okay, you know, we're still pushing on the same old, because once we transition from this cold arc / Kawa arc into more Otsutsuki lore, the transition is going to be so smooth and in front of our faces that we aren't even going to realize it, and just at that point going to be so in tune and going along with the story. But Boruto's Jougan is definitely going to be connected with the next Otsutsuki. That's why we haven't really had any instances of seeing it that much in our manga. Urashiki is not even in the Boruto manga. Mind you, he's in the Naruto manga, but he's not even in the Boruto manga. So there was no reasoning behind having Boruto show his Jougan then. And then in the earlier chapters of the manga, there's a whole lot of changed scenes from the Momoshiki and Naruto fight compared to the anime. And even in the novel versus how the manga decided to go about things. So we already understood they were going to go a different route of introducing the Jougan in the manga. And now when we get told from Ishiki, an all-powerful Otsutsuki at this current point in the story, looking at Cole, telling him he needs to become a new Otsutsuki, that's the next time we even see, and at this point, an abundance of Jougan eyes on this random figure labeled as the Otsutsuki god, and we can understand the connections that obviously lies between Boruto's eye and the new Otsutsuki. And I feel like, what if we come across these two Otsutsuki's that had the Destroyer Stones in that dimension that Sasuke was at, right? Or what if just these new random Otsutsuki's, or possibly another Otsutsuki maybe coming from the long distance, checking out instances that happened with Toneri, or just checking out the whole Momoshiki Ishiki Kaguya incidents, and they come across, you know, figures like Naruto, Sasuke of the ninja world, and hearing about Boruto ultimately, you know, being Momoshiki's vessel, defeating Momoshiki, overcoming the process of the karma still, and still maintaining that power. Boruto has to trigger a lot of eyes, and we already know from lines from figures such as Momoshiki, from Urashiki, even from Toneri himself, Otsutsuki, especially those on the mainland, have the ability to witness or at least be aware of the events that are going down on Earth. So it's only a matter of time until some motherfucker says, okay, let's go look at this motherfucking Uzumaki and Uchiha family that just keeps packing up our kinfolk, you feel me? So don't y'all think there's gonna be something a little fishy, right? And as for whether it's just possibly no more Otsutsukis left, I don't really believe they will be going that route, because then they will be basically building up as a rebuild of the clan, where we only have Boruto Kawaki currently, and then Code aspiring be the Otsutsuki god. And I don't feel like they will be doing that route, where it's like it's so little content for all of this context they have been building up over the years, even going back into Shippuden, for like, nah, bro, it's gonna be a whole clan of these motherfuckers. And it has to be the reason why they haven't introduced the whole clan or more Otsutsukis on top of Otsutsukis is because they're not ready to dive deeper into the story of Boruto's all-knowing dojutsu that's ultimately linked to the motherfucking Otsutsuki clan. So the next time we get an Otsutsuki arc, especially like dealing with the shit in the manga, not just saying Code turning into Otsutsuki, Boruto 100% Otsutsuki, but I'm talking about a fresh Otsutsuki, whether it's the destroyed stone faces that Sasuke saw or someone else coming from the motherfucking mainlands. And it's like, bro, what the fuck is going down? Whenever that encounter happens, or maybe Boruto's chakra is able to somehow sense that in a similar nature to where it was reacting to Momoshiki Urashiki and how it was forced to react to Nue, we're going to be able to see Boruto's Jougan for the first time in the manga on Boruto himself, versus saying, okay, the Jougan, we already seen it on that Otsutsuki guy, but now it's just a matter of time before how they implement it into Boruto's eye, into Boruto's power set and abilities, and not to make it seem like it's the, okay, ass pull, okay, now it's about time, or like, nah, niggas already forgot about that shit. Even though I know a lot of people are starting to say, like, is the Jougan even canon at this point? Mind you, they're building it up and they're waiting for the right moment. Just this reason, same reason why they haven't introduced any other new Otsutsuki is the same reason why they haven't introduced Boruto's Jougan. The time isn't right, and it's honestly not needed. So when the threat rises to a level, and honestly, y'all could be like, bro, what can be more than, like, this nigga Code is supposedly stronger than Jigen, and this nigga packed Naruto Sasuke. But trust me, man. Trust me. Now, unless I'm wrong and it's gonna be activating in these next upcoming chapters, that's the only way I see it. But when the next Otsutsuki is on the scene, believe me, Boruto's eye is gonna start to gleam. Bars. Fuck is you talking about? But until my next video, man, let me know your thoughts below. Boruto's Jougan, Boruto's eye, and the secret behind the Otsutsuki clan in general. Do y'all think we'll get a next arc revolving around the Otsutsukis, and a next arc that will basically show us Boruto in the progressions of developing his eye, becoming aware of his eye's power, and even aware of the true origins in his name, rather than say, is this a Byakugan or some shit? You know what I'm saying? But until my next video, leave your thoughts below, comment below, share the video with your friends. Holla at your boy, I'm holla at y'all, Black Child. Yes, sir. Ski.
Hey, can we take a trip to the sky? Show them that our limits too high. Cocoa butter hips on the west side. She said